One of the biggest issues in Madden 26 is that for the most part, QB contains are broken and do not do a good job of keeping the quarterback in the pocket, which has led to mobile quarterbacks dominating the game, rolling out, throwing dots left and right. Well, what if I told you that there actually were some tips and defenses you could use to effectively keep the quarterback in the pocket and allow you to prevent the rollout? I'm sure this would be very helpful. So in today's video, I'm going to go over some of my favorite tactics you can use to stop the mobile quarterback from rolling out and get your contains to actually contain. So when dealing with a mobile quarterback this year, it's very important to know the right defenses to call and the right players to use on contains. Because this year, there's a lot of really good linebackers that you can put at D end on your D line. Mike Jones is one of them. These guys are going to be a lot better than, say, an actual D lineman like a Jonathan Allen. If we have a Jonathan Allen, we definitely want that type of guy actually in the interior of the line. We don't really want to have Jonathan Allen or even like someone like Parsons containing the quarterback. You'll notice that these guys, while their speed might be reasonable, they just don't do that great of a job compared to the linebackers. So anytime you're really worried about the quarterback rolling out, don't use an actual D lineman. They're just not going to do a good job. So the first thing is make sure you actually sub in your fastest linebackers at the end. That's going to make a world of difference. The second and most important thing is know the formation and the alignments you are calling. Certain formations, alignments, and fronts on defense will do a much better job of containing the quarterback than others. Now take for instance this 3-3 Cub. The 3-3 Cub is a formation that does have the potential to send some overload blitzes, but the problem is the contains just don't really do that great of a job. If you look at this alignment, you can see, we have, this defensive end. He's kind of lined up to the outside shoulder of that guard. And what's going to end up happening is you can just very easily get to the outside, and at that point, you're going to end up having to maybe send a guy in coverage at the quarterback, and that's never good this year because anytime you try to send guys in coverage, this year, you never know who it's going to send. Sometimes it sends the right guy, sometimes it sends the wrong guy. So ideally, yes, that edge, he can come, but you don't really want to run formations like this where you have this type of alignment by your line. It's not going to do a good job at, keeping the quarterback in the pocket. Now, that's not to say that you have to run, you can't really run 3-down line sets because that's not true. A lot of 3-down line sets are actually effective at containing the quarterback. The 3-3 Cub just doesn't do a good job. One of my favorite ones, honestly, this year just in general, and not even necessarily anything specific out of it, but just like the dime 1-4. This actually does a pretty good job. Now, this crossfire blitz kind of, it's not as good as it was at all. It used to be better, but it's still okay. But what I like about this defense is the contain aspect of it. When you contain from the dime 1-4, you can actually keep the quarterback in the pocket very well. Well, why is this? Well,
real quick guys, if you want to dominate Madden 26 and win more games, check out my VIP membership on Sportsgamers.com. This is where I post all my premium content, including all the offensive and defensive ebooks I release all year long, in addition to premium Madden Vault weekly tip updates. You will learn the proven strategies thousands of players have used to win more games, and over 99% of my members say that they win more games with my tips. Click the link in the description to join now and start winning more games today.
For instance, you look at this defense compared to the last one. You get these edge rushers. First of all, they're standing up. They don't have their hand in the dirt. They're standing up, and they're a good yard outside of the tackle. Anytime you get a contain with a guy standing up a yard outside of the tackle, you're going to have a lot better chance of keeping the quarterback in the pocket compared to what we just had. As you guys can see, he simply, he has much better leverage, right? He's outside of this lineman. Even though the lineman has his hands on him, chances are, as I'm trying to roll out, he's probably going to get off that block sooner than later. And once again, if you put a fast linebacker in the game here, you're probably going to have a lot of success with this. You can see it's nowhere near as easy to just scramble away from. A lot of people this year have gotten in the bad habit because early in the year stunts were so good of just stunning all the time from 4-down sets, they have no idea what formations to call to keep the quarterback in the pocket. Now, the thing is, certain 4-down sets are actually really good. One of my favorites actually is this 2-4. The thing about the 2-4 is, you still do need those linebackers. And right now, I'm going to put Shazier and Mike Jones in the game. The good thing about 2-4 is it actually gets some of the best sheds in the game. There's a very specific setup that you can call from this defense from any play that does a great job of actually getting some pressure, some sheds, but also containing the quarterback at the same time.
If you want to learn how to make millions of coins to get all the best players on your Madden Ultimate Team, check out the Coin Authority on Sportsgamers.com. Click the link in the description of this video and use coupon code COINS for 10% off your order.
So what I like to do is, first of all, pinch the D-line. You'll see that when you pinch the defensive line from the 2-4, that actually slid this right of screen player Shazier out an extra yard or two. Now, I go ahead and crash the defensive line down and QB contain. You'll notice that both of these guys, again, this is Jones and Shazier, these are linebackers that are fast, they're even further outside the tackle. They're a good 2 yards or so outside the tackle. So now I can call any coverage. This is just cover 4 quarters, I believe. This looks like match here. I don't even remember what I call it because it doesn't matter. But you'll see that, the D tackles, they'll get some good push up the middle. And if I try to roll out, well, that guy is just going to disengage very quickly. And it's not going to be very easy to roll out. So again, you first pinch the D-line, you then slant them or crash them inside, and then you just QB contain. That is literally all I'm doing. And as you guys will see, if I try to get away from this, it's a lot more difficult. And just so you guys know, you can, like I said, you can call any play. So you want to do Tampa 2, go right ahead. Just do your QB contain, enter D-line, and we're set. So again, you guys can see, I try to get away from this. It's a lot more challenging. Now, there definitely are certain mechanics that you can do to make it easier to roll out. There are certain glitches in the game. I don't really want to get into those in this video, but if you are curious about the rollout glitches and the way you can get out even faster, you can check out my VIP membership on Sportsgamers.com. That's some VIP material. I've also posted other contained defenses that are much better than this even, but this is just some good stuff to get you started. Now, if you are still running the mug formations, you can also contain from these. One of the easiest ways to do it is just to call a standard coverage, and you're going to want to go ahead and spread your line out, crash them down, and contain. Once again, you'll notice that this will put these edge rushers a yard or two outside of the tackles, and if you do have good linebackers subbed in, it'll be hard to roll out from, and you can still put in your actual pass rushers at the tackle that are on those crash down angles to potentially get some push up the middle. But again, you'll see, that's not really something you're going to be able to roll out against consistently. So at the end of the day, the average player, they call contain, they expect it to work no matter what. But what most people don't really consider is who is on the contain and then the defense and alignment they're calling. Because if you call contains from bad alignments where you got guys lined up in position to where, they could potentially get double teamed, or even if they're not double teamed, they just don't have leverage, of course, the rollout's going to work. If you're trying to contain a 90-speed quarterback with a fat 70-pound D lineman, or 70-speed D lineman, it's not going to work. So these are the things we have to consider in order to contain the quarterback. Now, I'm not saying contain shouldn't be better. They absolutely should be better. But even though they're bad, there are still defenses that will do a good job. So take these tips to the lab, and you will definitely see some improvement.